Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating, to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health-conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery, so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Episode of the Healthy Her podcast. Today's episode is all about helping you to stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling empowered with your healthy eating so that you can finish the year strong. Because whether you want to hear it or not, the new year is not that far away. And I know that at this time of the year, we often get quite reflective and we look back at the year that was. We think about goals that we set for ourselves. Like, did we get there? Are we happy with our progress? Are we happy with how we showed up for ourselves? So it is a reflective time of the year. And like thinking back to my own journey and working with our Healthy Eating Hype Girl members this year, I know that we always feel motivated and inspired to make a change with our wellness and our healthy eating, and we feel really good and we want to make those changes, but we often feel like we don't have a lot of control. And so in this episode, I really want to talk about how you can take back your control, feel in control, and so that you can end the year strong and start 2025, that's crazy saying that, in this fresh new mindset that you do have more control than you think over your healthy eating and your exercise and your wellness. When I was thinking and planning out this episode today, I was thinking about like where this kind of comes from, this feeling as women that we have where we feel like so many factors outside of us, like we just have no control over things. So, we don't have control about like how we exercise because of our kids or because of our partner's work or because of like expectations that our boss has of us or something that our colleagues doing, all of those kind of things. We often just feel like we don't have control over our healthy eating and exercise and wellness and how we show up for ourselves because we feel like there's all these factors outside of us that are stopping us from doing the things that we want. And I was thinking about this when I was going to record this episode. And for me, like being reflective and looking back, I was thinking of the times that when I had the most control. And I can honestly say it was before I had kids. So I went to university, I became a primary school teacher. It was just me and my husband. All I had to worry about was really myself and him, my house. I could eat what I wanted, when I wanted. I didn't have to consider another person's needs or whether they liked that food or what they wanted. I could go and exercise when I wanted. And I had so much more control. And I definitely think that the more into like adulthood that you get when you start to have kids and you've got a job and you're juggling all of the things, we often feel like that control that we used to have when we were younger just slowly starts getting chipped away. And I think that's where a lot of that lack of self-confidence when it comes to taking care of ourselves as women comes from, because that control that we used to have has slowly been eroded. And so we just don't feel like we get a say as much in the way that we show up for ourselves. So that's the goal of today's episode, is so you feel really empowered. And I'm going to give you lots of tips and ideas of how you can actually put yourself back in the driver's seat, and so you can put yourself back in control. So you do feel like you can be empowered. So you do feel like you get a say in how you show up for yourself. And so you can take away that feeling of being disempowered, when your kids are sick, or your boss has asked you to do something at work that's going to take up more of your time, or your partner's working FIFO, like all of these things that are totally out of our control. This episode is about putting you back in control. So thinking back to my own personal experience with losing weight and changing my lifestyle and getting healthy and all of those kind of things, I remember for the longest time using these factors as a reason and as an excuse to not do the things that I needed to do for myself. So I would use my baby or my kids or work or my husband's work or something that was happening with my family or things like that. They became an excuse for me to not take care of myself. And I spent a lot of years, like I said, feeling disempowered, like I didn't have control. I'm like, oh, well, all these things have happened, so I can't exercise. Or this is going on, so I can't have a healthy meal. Or my kids need me to make this for dinner, so I can't eat what I want. Like I just found reason after reason after reason, an excuse as to why I couldn't show up and why I couldn't take care of myself. And like I said, I think that's where it's come from and where it does come from for us is that it's this sort of compounding effect of like when you have kids and a family and a husband and a partner and work and all these other adult things get stacked on, you feel like you have less and less control over the way that you take care of yourself and the way that you show up for yourself. So if you do feel that way, it is completely normal. And like I said, I think it's kind of something that sneaks up on us over time and we sort of let it, become an excuse. It does. Let's be honest, it does. It becomes an excuse. It's like, well, that's why I can't look after myself, or that's why I can't exercise, or that's why I can't have a healthy meal. And something that really, really helped me on my own journey was learning how to flick that switch. So learning how to go from feeling really disempowered, like I had zero control about the way I showed up for myself, to putting myself back in control. And I really hope that this episode is going to do the same for you. All right, let's jump into, so how do we do that? Like, how are we going to do that? So that you're thinking, well, that's great, Jen, but like at the moment, you're probably listening to this and nodding your head and thinking, oh yes, that's just so me. Like I have no control. I've got kids, I've got work, I've got all of these things and I want to show up for myself. And that's the thing, as women, like we have good intentions. We're smart women. We know we should look after ourselves. We know we should exercise. We know we should be eating better. But all of these outside factors make us feel like we don't have any control over the choices that we make for ourselves. So how do we get ourselves back in control so that you can feel empowered? So tip number 1, you need to reflect and look back. Now, this is the part where you have to be honest with yourself. So you need to spend a few moments and look back at the year that was. So where were you in all of this? Like, did you take control? Did you step up and did you take control? Did you feel empowered? Did you make choices for yourselves? Or did you let all of those outside factors from this, you may be listening to this and thinking, this year has just kicked my ass and there has been so many things that have gone wrong and I've had no control and I haven't been able to show up for myself at all. And it's okay, but it's really important that you do look back at the year it was, because if you're not aware of how you showed up for yourself, how are you going to make a change? So whether you're listening to this now and straight away you're thinking, wow, yeah, that was me. Like I just let all of this outside stuff take complete control over myself, about how I show up for myself. That's okay. But you have to recognize that so that you can make the change and so that you can move forward. So just spend a few moments thinking about your year that was. Did you show up for yourself, or did you let all of those outside factors and all of the crappy things that may have been thrown your way this year take control of how you looked after yourself? So just take a moment to think about that, because it will help you make a change moving forward and it will help you start to feel empowered as we end this year and start moving into a fresh new year. Okay, the next tip, accept your responsibility in all of this. Like that's reality. If you haven't had any control and haven't taken any control over how you show up for yourself, how you look after yourself, did you exercise this year? Did you drink some water? Did you stop scrolling on TikTok late at night and go to bed earlier than you should have? Like, how have you taken care of yourself this year? You really need to accept your responsibility in how you have shown up for yourself this year. So think about how you showed up for yourself this year. Are you happy with it? Did you maybe do 40%? Did you do 50%? Did you do no percent at all? And really take responsibility for the role that you have played in how you showed up for yourself this year. And once you have done that, so you've, 1, become aware of how you showed up for yourself. 2, you've taken responsibility for how you've shown up for yourself. Now I want you to take back control. So it's in the butt to take back control, because sometimes, like as women, we just need to be given that like pat on the shoulder, that go for it. This is your message today. So I want this one to stick with you. This is your time to take back your control. From now on, you are going to be in the driver's seat and you are not going to let outside factors that are outside of you control the way that you look after yourself. So for me, in my personal experience, I realized looking back now that I just gave away so much of my power. Like I truly gave away so much of my power. And I know that as mothers, we put our children first, and it would be not normal of us to do that, but we do always put our children first. And the problem with that is that, like, I just realized I just gave away all my power. So for example, it was, oh, well, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd feel like absolute crap. And it's like, well, my baby didn't sleep last night. Right, well, I can't do any exercise today. I just gave away all my power. Literally in that split second, my baby didn't sleep, so I can't do any exercise. Stop. And then I did nothing. I gave away my power. Another one, like, oh, my boss has given me lots of extra work, so I can't eat a healthy lunch. Again, I just gave away my power to someone else. Another example, oh, my partner worked late, or my partner worked FIFO, so I didn't have time to do my meal prep. Are you ready to step into a vibrant community of health-conscious women where your journey to helping feel easy begins? Welcome to the Healthy Eating Hype Gal community, your ultimate destination for mastering your relationship with food and embracing a healthy lifestyle. As a busy working mum who's lost 10 kilos, I've been through it all and I understand the struggle. That's why I'm here to teach you the exact steps and tools I use to lose weight, conquer my mindset and thrive, all while juggling the demands of everyday life. Say goodbye to no more confusing fad diets or overwhelming nutrition advice. In this community, I'll guide you through the maze of weight loss and healthy eating and explain it to you in a way that finally makes sense. From easy, family-friendly meal plans to my exclusive calorie deficit quick guide, monthly masterclasses, plus so much more, so you can finally make healthy eating an achievable lifestyle without restriction. It's time to ditch the confusion and overwhelm for good. Join today and kickstart your journey to a healthier, happier you. There's no perfect time to start. Let's make your wellness dreams a reality. Again, I'm giving my power away. Like I'm giving my control over how I look after myself, about how I eat, about how I exercise, about how I show up for myself. I'm giving that away to someone else. And can you see how very slowly over time you start to feel disempowered because you're giving away your control to all of these outside factors. And it's why as women we feel so overwhelmed and confused because we just keep giving away our power all the time in these small little micro moments every single day. So we are taking back control and we are putting you back in the driver's seat today. So as I mentioned previously, this is all about accepting your role in this and just deciding that you want different for yourself. You have to want different for yourself. If you are stuck in that pattern of always giving away your power, always letting everyone else and everything else around and outside of you take control of your wellness and how you take care of yourself, you have to want different for yourself. You have to want to feel different. You have to want to look different. You have to want to show up different. So part of that is setting realistic and achievable goals for yourself. So what I mean by that is, in order for you to take back control is you have to be realistic. Like the things, so if you're listening to this going, great, yes, like I'm super pumped after listening to this and I'm going to go to the gym for 7 days a week and I'm going to exercise for 2 hours a day. If you are a busy working mum that is juggling all of the things, that is not a realistic and achievable goal for you to set for yourself. So set things that you know you can achieve. And why that is so important is because the more that you can experience success and do the things that you say that you're going to do, the longer and more often you are going to keep showing up and keep doing them. It's a really simple thing. So set realistic and achievable goals for yourself moving forward. So instead of saying, I'm going to do 7 days of gym workout, I'm going to do 2 hours of workouts every day, set something that's realistic and achievable for you. So you might say, okay, well, Mondays and Wednesdays, I know I can put my son in the crate. That's fine. I can do that. And then I can go to the gym. And maybe every Friday I can go for a walk before work because I know I get to start later on Fridays. Like make these things achievable so that you can do them and so that you can stick to them. The next one is to be prepared to be flexible. So these are all steps as to how you're going to take back your control so that you can feel empowered, so that you can feel strong. These are all steps so you can be back in control. So be prepared to be flexible. So, you can still, and this is something I talk a lot in our masterclasses and coaching calls with our healthy eating hype gal members, is that they can still be super focused on their goals. So you can still want to, be working on your weight loss goals and how you feel and how you look and all of those kind of things. You can still really, really want those things, but you can be flexible in the way that you get there. Because if you can be flexible, it shows and helps you show kindness to yourself. You tend to achieve things better because you're not in this fast rush haste to get to your end goal. So being flexible about how you get. So what do I mean by being flexible with your goals? So for example, you wanted to work out today. What was your plan? You went to bed last night with all of the good intentions. I'm going to get up today and I'm going to work out, whether that was a Pilates class, a walk, a gym, whatever it was. And you wake up in the morning and your child comes out of their bedroom coughing and spluttering and wiping their runny nose. So what do? Now you have a choice here. You can give away all your control right there in that moment and go, my child is sick. I cannot do anything at all today. That's it. Or you can feel confident, empowered, and in control and say to yourself, hey, you know what? This was not what I planned, but when he goes down and has a sleep or when he's just watching some TV on the couch, I'm going to use my walking pad at home or I'm going to do a quick YouTube workout. There is always something that you can do. And that is that real shift that we have to make from feeling disempowered to empowered and in control. So another example, you wanted to eat a healthy dinner. Again, you're like, right, got my goals today. Yep, I'm going to eat a healthy meal. I'm going to pack it with vegetables. I'm going to have lots of protein in it. And you have to work late. Someone's sick, you have to work an extra shift. You have to do overtime. You have to be at work longer. Again, this is where you have that moment of choice. So you can say, right, I'm just going to give away all my power. Here you go. You can have all of my power. I have no control about how I eat. I'm just going to get a burger and chips and give up and not worry about it. Or you can say, you know what? I've had to work late. My family's at home. I still have to put a healthy meal on the table. Is it takeaway or is it, no, you know what? I'm going to spend 10 minutes. I'm going to whip into the supermarket. I'm going to grab a hot chicken, some wholemeal bread, some salad, some coleslaw, fruit and vegetables. I'm going to throw that all together on a plate and there's my healthy dinner. The more you can do this in these small moments, the more that you will feel in control, the more you will feel like you're just not giving away your power to everyone else. So it's in these small moments where we make a different choice, where we feel confident and where we feel empowered. And the more you do it and the more you repeat this behavior and you repeat this pattern, the less you will feel like everything outside of you has control over you and that you get no say in the way that you show up for yourself. This next tip, and it is a big one that I talk about a lot, and that is learn that different isn't wrong. In the previous examples that I just gave about, you wanted to work out today, but your child is sick, so you're going to do a YouTube workout. You had to work late, so you couldn't make a healthy dinner at home, but you decided to pick up a whole cooked chicken and some salads and some coleslaw and some wholemeal bread and just make a sort of quick slate for dinner for you and your family. Just because that's different, it doesn't mean it's wrong. And it's a really big mindset shift that we have to make as women, because in our minds, we have these ideals and these ideas of how something should look all the time. How a perfect lunch should look, how a perfect dinner should look, how a perfect workout should look. And just on these days, you need to do different things. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean that you're not making progress. It doesn't mean that you're not taking care of yourself. It means that you are taking care of yourself. It means that you are learning how to manage a healthy lifestyle with your hectic lifestyle as well. So really, really focusing on the fact that just because you have to do something different than what you originally planned to do, it doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing to do. So just as we wrap up this episode, I just want you to spend a few moments thinking about your year. Like, how was your year? And like I said, it may have thrown you all of the crappy things, because I know we all have those times in our lives where it feels like, I don't know, the universe is just kicking our ass and it's just throwing all of these things at us all at once. Just take a few moments to think about how your year was this year, especially the part about, did you give away all of your power to other people? Did you give away all of your power to your family, to your boss, to your colleagues, to your family members that might be particularly needy and need a lot of requirements and help and support and things like that? Have you spent all of your year giving away your power to everyone else. So, just spend a few moments reflecting on that, because that will really help and change the way that you show up for yourself into the new year. Do you want to show up for yourself like that next year? That's what you have to decide. Do you want to spend a whole nother year feeling disempowered, feeling like you have zero control about whether you exercise, whether you eat healthy, whether you drink water, whether you go to bed early? Do you want to have another entire year feeling like that? Or do you want to put yourself back in the driver's seat, start taking back all of your power, and start 2025 feeling in control, confident, and empowered that you can make good choices when you need to make good choices, that you can be flexible, you can do something different than you planned, and that it isn't wrong? Is that how you want to start your 2025? So it really comes down to, how you want to show up for yourself next year, and also to how you want to feel. So, you don't have to spend another year feeling like that. I hope that this episode has really just given you a few things to think about. And I hope that after listening to this episode that you are starting to feel, even if it's just a little bit, you are starting to feel more confident, more empowered, and you have realized and seen that there are actually all of these little opportunities in your every single day today of where you can be in the driver's seat, where you can be in control, where you can take control, and where you can stop letting all of these outside factors be in the driver's seat and choose how you show up for yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be times where it is literally just out of your control. Like, stuff has happened and there is nothing that you can do for whatever reason. But those times are usually pretty small. For the rest of it, and for the most part, there will always be a situation where you can do something, where you can make a different choice, and where you can show up for yourself, take back your power, and feel confident and in control. Hope that you enjoyed listening to today's episode. I am super pumped for the new year that is coming just around the corner. And if you do need another little pep talk, maybe early January, you can jump back and listen to this episode. Don't forget to screenshot and share this one to your socials, or leave us a review, or even tell your bestie about the Healthy Her podcast. It means the absolute world to me, and I'll see you all in our next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing, because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram @theactivebod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.